Hello and welcome to Government with Dr. Turner. Today we're going to take a look at the competing narratives, goals, and compromises that shaped the Constitution. As we found out in the last video, the government created by the Articles of Confederation was an association of states with a weak central government. We also learned that under the Articles of Confederation, many state legislatures adopted policies to help people badly hurt in the post-Revolutionary War economic troubles, including farmers. The competing narratives in America were between farmers who wanted to keep their simpler way of life and wealthy elites who were concerned about popular tyranny. Popular tyranny, some might call it mobocracy, develops when the power of the masses is unconstrained. Shays' Rebellion was an uprising by Massachusetts farmers over land foreclosures, and it concerned the elites greatly. They began to plan a convention that would address some of the weaknesses of the Articles of Confederation. The Constitutional Convention took place from May 25th to September 17, 1787 in Philadelphia. The delegates to the Constitutional Convention were the most educated, powerful, and wealthy citizens of the new country. In other words, many delegates were those most injured under the Articles. The original stated purpose of the Constitutional Convention was to revise the Articles of Confederation, but the goal of most delegates was to increase the power of the national government. The Constitution of the United States is built around three major compromises. Political struggles don't always produce an absolute winner or loser. Sometimes the two sides reach compromise that both can live with. The first compromise settled the issue of how strong to make the central government. The founders adopted a federal political system as a compromise between those who wanted a strong central government and those who wanted to retain strong state governments. The advantage of federalism over a confederation was that it would divide power between the federal and state governments. Under the Articles, the federal government had too little power and the states had too much. But the states were unwilling to completely give up power, and the delegates still had bad memories of the strong central government they had lived under as British colonists. The new arrangement of federalism made the people sovereign, and then both the federal government and state government each had their own source of power. Through the Constitution, the people recognized both state power and federal power as legitimate. Those who preferred stronger states lost some under this arrangement, but not as much as they might have. The second major compromise dealt with how to allocate power among the states. Under the Articles, each state had equal power. They each had one representative in the Congress. The smaller states were happy with this, but larger states thought they deserved more of a say in decisions. The large states, led by Virginia, proposed a Congress with two houses, one elected directly by the people, the other elected indirectly by state legislatures. The number of delegates to each would be based on taxes paid, which was a measure related to the free population of each state. They also proposed a single executive, a national judiciary, and national supremacy, which means the federal government would automatically win over the states if there was ever a disagreement. The small states were concerned that three large states by themselves could direct all national policy. The small states were doing pretty well under the Articles, so it's no surprise that they proposed a plan that didn't change much from the Articles. They proposed a multi-person executive and said that congressional acts would be the supreme law of the land. Each state would get one vote within a Congress made up of only one house. As you might guess, the large states were concerned their agenda would be blocked by the small states. The Great Compromise established a legislature with equal state representation in the Senate and representation by state population in the House. This provided the small states with equal power in the Senate and large states with proportional power in the House. Legislation needs the approval of both houses to pass. However, this second compromise called for a third compromise. The population of the southern states was greatly increased by the slaves living there. Southern states wanted to count slaves for representation in the House. The northern states disagreed by saying if slaves could not vote, they should not be counted. Settling this argument led to the 3/5 compromise. For representation in the House, only 3/5 of other persons would be counted. The way the founders treated slavery in the Constitution indicated that slavery was such a divisive issue. They did not dare to mention it directly in the Constitution. The word slavery didn't appear in the Constitution until it was outlawed almost 100 years later. Let's review. The delegates to the Constitutional Convention were the most educated, powerful, and wealthy citizens of the new country. The Constitution of the United States is built around 3 major compromises. The founders adopted a federal political system as a compromise between those who wanted a strong central government and those who wanted to retain strong state governments. The Great Compromise established a legislature with equal state representation in the Senate and representation by state population in the House. The 3/5 Compromise stated that for representation in the House, only 3/5 of other persons, or slaves, would be counted.